Hi, Ian Roberts, Mastering Composition and Simplifying the Painting Process. So today I thought I'd take you actually through my process of making a painting. Take you right through from the very beginning. We're starting off with a look at a Provençal, a market in Provence in the south of France, and it's busy. And so then I'll show you how I cropped it to sort of get interested in it. And what's interesting is look at this sketch. Now, this may not make a lot of sense now, but you'll see as I start working on the painting, this thing started to resonate in my mind. Really simple design driven. This is like a good sign when you can simplify something like this. It's a little bit like when you hear those stories of someone, say, pitching a movie like Aliens and say, or Alien, and it's like, well, Jaws meets Star Wars or something, just simplify it into that little nugget. So when you've got something where the design is that like rich, at least in your own brain, it's like a good starting off place. So I'm going to show you how, first off, how I crop the image, and then the structure that I'm using that allows me to strip away everything that isn't supporting that structure. So we'll start with that. So the main thing when you're doing something as complicated as this is figuring out what it is that really appeals to you. And for me, it's something like this, and you'll see that's how I've cropped it. This and the light sort of coming in here and this shaft of light here. So all this distraction, her cart, this stuff here, this lady, this thing up here, and almost everything else going on there, you'll see, I'm just stripping all that stuff away. So this is the cropped image. So obviously there's a lot of things that are left out now, but the main thing still is that, okay, this is a figure, we're going to look at her, but look at the structure here of the verticals there and the horizontals here, this patch of peaches and light across there. That's the big structure, the horizontals and the verticals. So you'll see that all the stuff going on back here, lettuces and people and lights, all that stuff, everything down in there, I just get rid of it. Because I want to focus on the big structure of that. So then with that in mind, I'm going to show you the block in. Now I don't have the palette because I'm only using black, raw umber, yellow ochre, and white. There's a touch of orange for the peaches. There's a touch of blue maybe for her sweater. But basically it's just neutrals. But I'm showing you the entire block in. I haven't cut a single piece out. If my brush isn't touching the canvas, I cut it out. If the brush is touching the canvas, you're seeing it. And it's just roughly. But you'll see the structure is starting to come together even at this point. Now the main thing that I'm doing here is just getting rid of the white canvas. As you can see, the paint is thin, there's turpentine on there, and I'm just putting in big masses, and I'm using neutrals, just big, simple, kind of value-related shapes. I'm not that concerned with the color now because obviously that's what I'm going to be working on when I start putting the painting together. But you can sort of see the photograph, and you can see there's things going on, and then I just, well, it's too complicated. I'm getting at it. But now there's a very important vertical. I mean, that post is sort of central to the success of the painting, or my thoughts on it. And there's some things sort of in shadow. I want them further back. No, not much concern with how they look just yet. And that group there, put them in the same color. Her dress. Or skirt, I guess. And, the colors are very neutral. I'm not that concerned with trying to get the color right. I'm more just wanting value. So I can get all the neutrals in, kind of as a foundation, and see what it's looking like. I mean, it's a pretty big brush. It's number 8, I think, ground a little bit to be a bit smaller, I suppose. But, I'm done. I do the whole thing with. You can see this turpentine there. It's coming out pretty quickly. And I'm blocking it in with the same brush, pretty loose. But if you get all the neutrals working, it's amazing how much you already get a sense of how the painting... Now this, all that complicated stuff under there, you can see I've just gotten rid of all of it. Just the simplest sense of something's underneath there, but not much. I just want the focus on the figure and the light on the peaches and the light on the ground there. And you'll see when I paint the painting in, I'm focusing on everything that's not in the light. I'm just having to make sure that all those neutrals are working before beginning to think about putting in the light. You see now I'm just sort of filling in little gaps and spots that I left the first time. And there's the first hit of the orange for the peaches. And the tabletop. Her legs. And you'll see I'm not worrying too much about how well it's drawn right now, because I'll be coming back in and orchestrating all that with paint later. I'm just getting the biggest shapes. And that's all blasted with sunlight, so I'm not getting it in too light now, but I just want to know where those lights are going to be, so I can kind of get a sense of the whole. And I'm just getting rid of one or two little bits of white, and then you're sort of looking at simplifying some of the edges, and then you're looking at the block-in. So there's the finished block-in. Now, next week, I'm going to do a demonstration of how that evolved into the finished painting, which looks like this. And I'll have the palette there because I'm using a full color palette. So I hope you found that helpful and engaging, and I hope you'll join me next week as I bring that painting to conclusion. There'll be a little less glare on it maybe next week because the paint will be dry. But do like the video if you enjoyed it. Please subscribe or sign up to get this in your inbox every Tuesday morning. I hope you have a great week. I hope everything's going well. And I will see you next Tuesday. Bye for now.